Joining me now is Bill Easton, the president of the Armadale Soccer Club. Bill, how is the club travelling as regards sponsors and the various marketing?
Well, this would be our best year, Eamon, without a question, in terms of raising revenue via our sponsors. It's been, pretty good, and we've got a few sponsors who chip in over $5,000 a go, and the club needs it. Where we are, we're fairly remote. Trying to attract players is like, trying to attract gold dust to the place. It's very hard, trying to attract players this far south. I don't know how Manchester are travelling, but we find it very difficult. And as you've seen, from the last 3 years, we've, been at the bottom of the pile. Yeah. We've fought off relegation the first 2 years. Last year was a bit more comfortable, and we're looking forward to an even better year this year.
The acquisition of Brad Hassel must have been a great boost for the club.
Oh, absolutely magnificent. With the departure of Billy and Tom Kilkelly, which was unfortunate, shall we say? Unfortunate, because I have great admiration for both the men. I would say that Tom Kilkelly's knowledge of the game would be as good as anybody's in the state, and Billy Russell's motivation man, who may not have the technical attributes, is just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But yes, getting Brad, we've plugged a huge hole, and the way the club is travelling at the present moment in time is fantastic. Brad has done a wonderful job, there is no question or doubt about it, and we have great faith in them, absolutely great faith in them.
And what would your hopes be for the season up and coming? That we're only about to start the very first game of the season. Where would you hope to see Armadale at the end of the season?
Well, I'm hoping mid-table. Well away from the danger of relegation, and we're quite confident that that's going to happen.
Okay, and any thoughts of finals football now that it's back in vogue again, and what do you think of finals football?
Well, I'm not a great believer in finals football. I'm not, and I've said that on the forum on many occasions. The point is, for me, the winner of the league over the season is the winner of the league. That's it.
Talking to a lot of the fans here today, there was a perception that because Armadale are a small club, they don't get treated very well by the powers that be. Do you subscribe to that theory or not?
Look, I was a supporter of Football West when it happened. Rapidly changing my view. I think they're doing things very wrong. And yes, I do believe that little clubs get discriminated against. There's no question or doubt about it. We have struggled here. And the work and effort that goes in to keeping this club in the Premier League is phenomenal, Eamon. I mean, it really is. The hard work that our committee members put in is, it's just tremendous. It's tremendous. And I, for one, would like to see, if somebody got a hold of Football West, I'd give them a hard kick up the backside, because the administration is shocking. It really is. I mean, you can't be informed of a meeting on the day it's supposed to happen. And that's what happened this week. The short notice in meetings is just, it's ridiculous.
Was that one of the reasons why you were not at the youth meeting that was held with FFA?
Yes, indeed. I didn't register a protest. I didn't register a protest by email or letter. I registered a protest by my non-attendance on Wednesday. And I will be attending the meeting this coming Monday evening, and I'll have a lot to say. I will have a lot to say, I can assure you.
What meeting is that? Is that the President's meeting with Football West?
Yes, it is indeed.
And what is the basic agenda of a meeting like that?
Who knows? Who knows? You could tell what the agenda was previously, but you can't until you get there. I mean, honestly, at the last one I was at last season, had to bite my tongue at times because it really is the contracts that came out, the Football West contracts or the FFA contracts that came out, I mean, discriminate against the smaller clubs. If you can't afford to pay a decent wage for a quality player to come here via, I mean, we have to fork out for superannuation. We have to pay them whether they play or not. We can't afford to do that. We have to have all our players on an amateur basis. And that doesn't, attract the best players.
Yeah.
We can't do it. I mean, the richer clubs who can, obviously they get the better players.
Well, people would say that basically they're trying to make it a semi-professional league, so therefore they want it in a situation where players or where teams should be able to afford that. Now, there's talk about a Super League in a couple of years' time. Can you see Armadale qualifying with the criteria that has been put up or proposed for that Super League?
Absolutely not. We can't. Whether we're good enough, we can't. We haven't got the facility. It's coming, but it's going to be too late. For 2010. It's going to be far too late. We are going to have to go cap in hand to a council who are not soccer orientated. They're bailing out footy clubs in the area to the tune of $250,000. We have never owed a penny, or we've always paid our debt to the council. It's taken us to get a light improvement out the back here so that we can play games in the evenings out here to save this one out here. We're having an improvement to the main pitch in lighting, and we're having an improvement out on this pitch here and this pitch so that we can play night games here and so that we can see each other at training. For us to be able to get 200 or a grandstand with 200 people seated is just unrealistic at the moment. It's unrealistic unless the Armadale Redevelopment Authority do what they did at Joondalup. When Joondalup had the same sort of thing. Maybe there's a chance. But we'll have to go to our major sponsor and ask and beg our council if we can.
So, in that point, basically, you're trying to say that with this Super League, it will be the end of Armadale as a Premier side?
Almost certainly. Almost definitely. There's no question or doubt about it. We would struggle to have the facility or to have the criteria. When you look out there, this would be when we're travelling fairly decently, we would have the most vociferous and we would take the most support away to any ground in the Premier League. And they're going to chuck us out because we can't meet a criteria.
Actually, that was my next question. What would happen to all the supporters who we know are very vocal and do follow the team out? In actual fact, I believe at some stages buses are normally organised for away games.
Oh yes, they go in the bus. They hire a bus, and they come in the bus and they have a few beers, and they come and support the team. That's what. Well, we won't miss it because they'll still come.
Yeah.
The point is, they won't get what they deserve. The Premier League, and which is very disappointing. And as I say, I'm sure it's driven by this thing to push. Okay, it may be the right thing to do, but not give the teams who are there and who qualify for the Premier League, if it's going to be an 8-team league or a 10-team league, whatever they say it's going to be, give them a chance to meet the criteria. Give them breathing space to do it. That's all I want to say about that.
So how long breathing space would you, as the president of Armadale, like to have to get Armadale up to the standard that is required or close to the standard? Is it going to be a question, will there be any, shall we say, variation to the standard?
I don't think there'll be any variation to the standard. I think it'll be hard and fast. But we would require another 3 years after 2010 to get to the required criteria.
So how is this actually going to be brought in? Surely it's going to be a vote by the presidents or something, or is it just going to be lawed or made in law?
It's an FFA decree. That's it. Simple as that. You meet the criteria or you don't. Simple as that.